This is where the fun begins.
Hey guys, what is going on? It has been a hot minute since I have posted a video here on my channel. Welcome back to Green Ranger 1701. Thank you for being here today. And as always, if you like the content I post, please subscribe to the channel or leave a like. It greatly helps me. But of course, I'm just grateful for the views, grateful to have you here. And I really love the engagement I get from you guys. I say it every single time, but you have no idea. Like, this is kind of just a little dream of mine. I've always wanted to do it. And just being able to, just, even as little humble home here, just try to set things up and come as far as we have together. It's really, really cool. Keep in mind that check out, what's that video? I think it's my Winter Soldier. Check it out. Talk a little bit about my Mandalorian cosplay giveaway. There's a video review for that as well. Unfortunately, it did not fit me, so it's going to go to one of you guys. So at 500 subscribers, I will be giving away a Mandalorian cosplay. I'm a little bummed, but I'm also excited for whoever the winner becomes. So catch me on Facebook, Green Ranger 1701. You can also follow me on Instagram, also Green Ranger 1701. And Twitter, if anybody uses it anymore, Green Ranger 1701. And of course, my channel, which you're already here. So thank you all for being here. Today is a little different. This is actually more exciting just because of all the news of the Obi-Wan show coming out, Ahsoka. Gosh, there is just so much happening. Lots of new Star Wars content coming out. And of course, we've been watching The Bad Batch. I've been having a great time with that. So today we return to the Star Wars universe with Anakin Skywalker cosplay. Now, this has been in the bag for some time. So I cannot remember if I ordered the brown tunic cosplay or the black. So we're going to find out together. And of course, I had to have my trusty Skywalker Legacy lightsaber from Galaxy's Edge, which I have not attended, here with me today. eBay is great for people who can't travel literally on the other side of the continent. So if you want to get that, eBay is really cool. Go to Galaxy's Edge yourself. I also did a review on this lightsaber. It's super awesome. I really enjoy it. I think they've really outdone themselves, and I think the prices are extremely fair for the quality that you receive. Anybody want to donate a Rey lightsaber to me? Hit me up. All right, so let's just get straight into this. I have stared at this bag so many times. I'm just like, man, I want to get into it, but I can't do it before my fans get to see it. So, cosplay crew, let's take a look. I've been, oh my gosh, just looking at this bag. I'm like, I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it. Of course, here we are, November 5th. I was going to wear maybe some of this for Halloween, but I didn't have a review done yet. All right, and once again, this is by SimCosplay. Those are kind of my go-to guys right now. If you guys have anybody else that maybe you think I could open up a channel or a dialogue with that would be willing to work with me and review further cosplay, let me know down in the comments below. I've really been trying to work with other people. They just have a lot of high expectations, which is understandable. They're trying to represent their brand. But if you know anybody that does do business and is pretty cool about the agreements and whatnot, hit me up, because I really like to do more for you guys and expand outside of Sim. But of course, these guys do a great job too. So, all right, so let's start here. So looks like we got the belt. I will say in the past, Sim has done a pretty good job on their belts. The Batman 2022 cosplay, that actually had real utility. It was a legitimate utility belt. I was carrying around little gold rocks for Halloween at Goose Lake for the Enchanted Trails for my little 18-month-old. So that was really awesome. So they do a pretty good job with this. This is actually kind of reminiscent of the Mandalorian one. It's got a little bit of buckle in the front. It doesn't have any actual, it pulls apart, but of course it doesn't actually tighten. But I love that that's there. For me, the more separated pieces really gives more authenticity for the look. So again, more viability. You can actually, goodness, if you got a small enough cell phone, maybe that Samsung that folds down, you'd actually be able to fit that in there. That's kind of cool. So it looks like this would be, yes, usual Velcro. I would like to see them get a little bit more into actual belt buckling and whatnot. I don't really see the big deal of flipping, if we're going to put, this front part on here, what's the difference in actually putting one where you can adjust and tighten. But it does work. It gets hidden in the back, especially in a cosplay like this where you have a cloak that's going to be on you. So pretty cool stuff. Looks here like we have, okay, so this is going to be So this, I believe this is going to be kind of the crisscross black leather that's going to go over the front and eventually have kind of the belt over it. So as you know, Anakin had the darker Jedi robes as well as the brown tunic over him. So that's pretty cool. You know, as usual, this is good, solid, heavy fabric. This is very reminiscent to the Kylo Ren cloak. Not as heavy, obviously, because it's not as large, but you do have that weight on it, and I like that because that gives more of a snug feel to me, and it gives the cosplay more of a real feel. So it's not cheap. This has solid weight to it, which I really enjoy. So these will be the crisscross parts, like just over the shoulder, and they'll cross, and you have the belt over it. But I do, you know, pleather is not as bad as people say it is. It actually, I mean, that's what they call it, fake leather, because it has a very genuine look to it. So that's pretty impressive, honestly. Looks like now we get a little bit more into the robe, right? So this is going to be the top. Decent color, very light material, as you can probably see by being able to see through it. It looks very comfortable as well. Doesn't look like it'd be getting you all warm and too toasty inside. Also has kind of like a robe. It has a little bit of tie inside, probably to make sure the flaps stay over, just like a standard robe, so that makes sense. Not much else to say here. I'm glad that this is, you know, I've been doing a lot of one-piece cosplay, the Batman 2022, Nightwing, all these things where you're like zipping up in the back, all the spandex like Venom, White Ranger, all of which you could find on my channel. But it's just nice to be able to get back to something where you can put on all your old clothes by yourself. Next, we have some pants. This kind of impressed me a little bit because Sim doesn't often provide pants, so that's really neat. These are also pretty lightweight in the fabric. Standard button and zipper. Belt loopholes as well. So I guess if you're going to be, you know, one of the beautiful things about this is a little bit too big for you. You can just throw on a belt and it'll still be hidden by the tunic, by the Jedi sash and all those different things. So it's okay to have that. That's really nice. Good strong, even though it's light, doesn't feel cheap. I would just call this maybe equivalent to a pair of khakis, honestly. So that's pretty cool. Like I said, I've been really excited to get into this, especially all the Star Wars content I've been watching, especially following all the content for the Obi-Wan show, all these leaks and rumors, and Book of Boba Fett coming up here in December, and ready for Bad Batch to return. So here will be the front part of the Jedi tunic. Of course, that's going to wrap around, and the belt's going to go over it. So it's going to give more of that blend between the black and the brown, which makes sense. Also, Velcro. I'm glad that they're making this stuff a little thicker. Back in the day, you'd probably see this about half the size, and you say, well, if you don't hit that spot, then it's either going to be too loose or it's not, you can't tighten enough. So I'm glad they're thickening up because now you have a little bit more room. You can go anywhere from 1 to 2 inches, and that can make a big difference for the one-size-fits-all approach. So that's really good thing. All right, so now we get to some more of the fun here. So here's the overcoat. So you have the under initial shirt, and here's kind of be the overcoat. This is where the black is gonna cross over the top, over the shoulders, and in the front. This one has a little bit more weight, which is good. I think that makes more sense, especially as cold as Alaska is all the time. But another robe piece. So you got the arms, and hopefully it's baggy on me. I got lanky arms. I'm kind of concerned about that up front. I do, you know, when the Jedi kind of put their hands together, it's almost as if their hands are hidden because their sleeves are so long. I do like that effect. So I'm hoping, I mean, I guess I could test it out now, but we'll wait for the actual review. I just want to make sure that my hands actually go through there pretty nicely and that there's a lot of give in terms of, you know, kind of hiding your hands. So we'll see about that. But this is a little bit more heavier, but obviously it's also a little bit larger. It's got a collar just like the other thing. It also feels like still pretty strong material, just obviously not as see-through. So that's good. I've got to say, they have been stepping up on the material from the things that I've been buying for the last few years now and what I've been getting from them. That's pretty neat. So I'm really happy about that. So now we come to the actual cloak, and this has just always been one of my favorite parts of Jedi wear. I always thought that was neat, especially after the first time I saw Qui-Gon in the Phantom Menace with that. So it looks like, okay. So it looks like this has way longer. So here's what I'm talking about. Here's what's definitely, so you got the large, almost bell-bottom looking sleeves. So that's really cool. So that's good because I love the part of the Jedi was kind of that mysterious effect as they move through different areas. You kind of knew when you saw someone robed, that was a Jedi. And I always thought the black was just much cooler because this was Revenge of the Sith. This was when Anakin is not quite to the dark side, but he's not really leaning towards the good side anymore. So that was kind of my favorite part of Anakin there, which is what made me choose this one. And of course, the gigantic cloak. I've always been a big fan of just big hoods. Just even as a kid, I was always the kid that poked my thumbs through the wrists of the hoodies and whatnot. That was just my style. And I always loved big hoods where I could just kind of cover my face. So really, really awesome. All right, well, that's it for the moment. So we have the cloak, we have the wrap around the waist, we have the belt, we have the tunic, we have the pants, and then we have the over leather for the shoulders and whatnot. So I'm going to try this on, and we'll see you guys back here in just a couple of minutes. All right, guys, so I've had a little bit of time to review this. So a couple key indicators here. First of all, I think this might be a little too large for me, so I'm hoping this review isn't skewed based on that. First of all, the sash pieces are very, very long. In the initial view on SimCosplay.com, they kind of come more down to just past the quadricep. These come down past my kneecap a little bit. And the belt for the tunic also said about a 34. I'm normally a 32. So this might be a little bit large. So it did cause some problems initially getting dressed. So first, let's start with the pants. Obviously, one leg in first, right? So these are just some standard light khaki type pants. They're brown, very breathable, very comfortable. So they're loose to walk in, but unfortunately, there's not a lot of give to move around. I get my leg up to about here, which is about my foot about 6 inches off the floor. And then you start to feel a little stress on the seams in the middle of the pants. So not something you can be too active in. Not that that's really a thing that happens when you're in cosplay anyway, but it does kind of restrict your movement. So there's not going to be a whole lot of bending, kneeling, things like that. Where it pertains to the more tan color tunic, also light, went on fantastic. Ties just like a robe, right? Ties first on the inside, and then comes in, ties on the outside, and the strings up and up on the side. You may want to cut those down a little bit. Obviously, I'm wearing the robe right now, so those would be hidden, but you probably want to cut those down to a size that fits you. That way they're not hanging out and being really ugly in case you decide to remove this. So the next part is we have the brown tunic. This is a little bit longer, a little bit larger, and also a little bit heavier. My wife had to gracefully take one of the strings out because they were both on the inside. And of course, you can't flap over and tie like that. So we clipped the one on the left, and she sewed it out here on the outside so that we could actually bring it over and tie it. So I don't know if that's a standard design flaw or that's something that was a one-time mistake, but I will be providing this feedback to SimCosplay. And of course, if you've tried out this cosplay as well, give me your feedback also. I'd love to hear it. So when we come back next to the black sash, again, these are very, very long. So you can see they go from just over my kneecap and also behind my knee. So these are super long. I wish they weren't that lengthy just because, again, it's a little bit more restricting. I also had a lot of trouble with them falling off the shoulders. No matter how far I drew them in and put the brown belt on, they fell down a lot. They kept just dropping off the shoulders, almost like spaghetti straps, right? So that was kind of annoying. My wife actually safety pinned these temporarily so that they sit up just fine. They're kind of noticeable in the back here. But the long-term solution for me is going to be installing Velcro on the bottom of this and on the top of the tunic shoulders. That way we could just, boom, Velcro it on. It still remains two pieces, but you don't have it falling off the shoulders. So that doesn't take a lot of work. Epoxy glue and buy some Velcro at your local craft store. That should be a pretty quick fix. I'll apply that and maybe update you down the road. So then we get to the brown belt. Really standard, right? No different than the Kylo Ren cosplay, anything else like that. Just bring it back. It's Velcro as well. Gives a little bit of room, like I said, about 2 inches, which is extremely helpful. And then, of course, you place this belt over the front. Both these things fit phenomenal. I think they look really good. Again, SimCosplay paying attention to detail. This even unbuckles, even though it's unnecessary. There was even plastic on this to keep it shiny. I thought that was kind of cool. And then we move to the robe, the cloak. so awesome, but it drags to the floor, so it'll be really easy to trip on. I noticed that the first few seconds I started walking around in it. So just be careful if you're going to be wearing this. You may be taller or whatnot. I'm 5'8". I got this in a of course they tailor to you, but I don't know if the cloak is one size fits all. So just be mindful of that. Of course, there's always the option to hem and various things like that, which I'll probably do, but be mindful because that's the case. I'm also not wearing any boots right now, so that could have an impact of an inch or so, but just keep that in mind. So then we move to the last piece here. And I know this is kind of brief, but there's not much to say. It is just a pretty standard cosplay. Not a whole lot of detail or effort needing to be put in. So this is a pretty long hood, as expected, right? Jedi Knight, so that comes out really far. And of course we have the kind of the classic Jedi look, right? Again, you could just put your hands together and you would never know the difference, which I think is awesome. That really makes it all worth it to me. I know that's so weird, but it does. And then of course, being the larger hood, I thought it was weird at first, but of course it gives a long flow and then kind of V's back down in. So I think that's really neat, as we've seen in The Mandalorian and various other Jedi cosplay throughout the films. This all makes sense. So we just take a look at it from behind. It's also got a lot of extra in the back. Again, it's supposed to be giving that look of mysterious, as we can even pull it down further. And really just there. And you're hardly able to recognize, right? So, of course, Anakin is one of my all-time favorites. I thought this cosplay is pretty cool. You know, aside from those few little flaws, it's nothing huge, nothing that can't be modified. I find a lot of times when I do stuff like this, modifications are necessary in some form or fashion, whether it's just improving or just a simple little defect. I don't really downgrade the cosplay over that. Overall, I think it's very solid. Everything comes in necessity in terms of pieces, quality, and manufacturing. So overall, I would rate this cosplay probably, I would say an 8 out of 10. For all the various things that I've tried on over the years and whatnot, I think this is still very high. Again, it's also not too heavy. I'm burning up right now, but I'm also got a studio light in front of me and the upstairs is kind of warm, so I really wouldn't put that to judgment too quickly either. But it's light enough, it's easy enough to move around in. Again, don't try to get too physical in these pants. You could try raising a little bit, changing the hem a little, but kneeling and whatnot is not going to do you too well in these. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being patient, waiting on another cosplay review. I promise you the next one will not take as long. The next one I'm very, very excited about. As always, I'm excited about the next one that comes out. But thank you all for joining me today. Remember, follow me at Green Ranger 1701 on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. At 500 subscribers, we'll be giving away one Mandalorian cosplay that's very much close to my build. 5'8", 150. Not much else to say there, but I'm really excited to give that away. And also remember, if you visit SimCosplay.com, use my personal discount code, GreenRanger1701, all one word, 7% off your purchase. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. May the Force be with you.
Dragon Sword!